Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And today we're going to be reviewing Doctor Who, classic Doctor Who, Season 1, Serial 2, The Daleks, this being Episode 6, The Survivors, Part 2 of the 7-part serial, that is The Daleks. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. All airing on BritBox for a small subscription fee. And of course, all 600 episodes are on there, as I always say, from the first Doctor to the 7th Doctor, plus the 8th Doctor movie, and a couple of other things that you may be interested in, like K9 and Sarah J and the adventure thing. But anyway, hit that subscribe button, leave a like. Spoilers ahead, of course, if you haven't checked it out. I do highly recommend you go check it out because William Hartnell is such a good doctor. And enjoy. So, this being part 2 of the Dalek storyline, this is the first time we ever see the Daleks appear on screen. And just a few things. This is actually where my first ever critiques come in. The design of the Daleks, fantastic. Nothing wrong with that. The design of the place they're based in, the metal city, really cool. I like the little dialogue we got between the characters. You know how, the doctor confirmed that he lied about the mercury that he needed, or that the TARDIS was faulty, and that basically Ian now blames him for putting them in this situation, getting the radiation poison and basically putting them to their death, basically. So, back and forth, back and forth. You can see the Doctor getting very weak and close to death in this episode. Barbara getting worse and worse. Ian being, again, this character who just drives forward the plot because his strength and courageousness just makes him such a likable character. The way he's always looking after every single character. I mean, the bit where he runs away from the Dalek and gets... This is a really weird scene, and it's crazy that they changed how the Daleks work. If you get shot by a Dalek in modern day, you're dead. But in this earlier stage, the Dalek shot Ian's leg to paralyze him. And basically, the Dalek said if I did it again, you would basically never walk again. And I love that concept. It basically allowed the Daleks to have this control over you for multiple hours whilst they devise plans and this sort of stuff. And it was such a unique and really good way instead of just killing them off. So I really loved that. And obviously that gave Susan the power to be the only character who wasn't really suffering massively from the radiation poison, to be the one to go back to the TARDIS to get the antidote from the Thales. I want to say the bit where she's running back to the TARDIS is some of the worst acting I've ever seen. She's just literally screaming and throwing her hands in the air and panicking. It was awful. It's like, why are you screaming? Why are you freaking out like this? It was atrocious to watch. And Susan is the worst of the actors we've had in the entire season so far. And don't give me this whole she's a kid. She's apparently 24, 25 in real life. She's just known for playing younger audiences. So, not too fond of that. But overall, it was a really good introduction for the Daleks. The design, as I said, I loved. The voice acting is a bit meh. There's not a lot of fear there. And you couldn't understand everything they were saying because they were speaking over each other at times. They were speaking very weird and fast, and probably that's because they couldn't get the voices out of the Dalek expressively enough. That's even a real word. But yeah, overall, it was a very good episode. I'm still going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. Just a little couple of things let it down, but as I say, the scenery is brilliant. The concepts behind the episode are great. The ideologies. I find it fascinating that the Doctor doesn't recognize the Daleks, even though he fought them in a Time War. But this could have to do with the fact of William Hartnell's Doctor is an old Doctor and he has memory issues here and there. So that could be to do with that. And maybe that's why he forgets his granddaughter one day. I don't know. But yeah, another terrific episode. I'm intrigued to see how they play this out over another 5 episodes. This could be the biggest issue of Hartnell's era. Spreading out storylines for that long period. We know Susan has to go back to the TARDIS and then obviously return with that dramatic ending where the doors flicked over and then there was thunder and lightning. She has to then return to Skaro, of which we know then obviously they'll have this face off against the Daleks. And then obviously we know the Thales are coming to it again, and then they'll be back and forth, back and forth. And it's what I love about the Doctor Who episodes in this era. They're always races back to the TARDIS. In the the caveman episode, it was all about them getting captured and then trying to prove themselves and then running to one place, then the other, and then trying to be freed and then running back to the TARDIS, escaping. This would be the exact same scenario, exact same thing. They'll somehow, do battle and talk with the Daleks, with the Thales and all that sort of stuff. There'll be an opening, they'll escape, they'll run back to the TARDIS, they'll leave. And I think it's such a brilliant idea. It's all this running, get out, get back in, get out, that sort of scenario. It's all well acted, it's all well put together, and I'm glad the Doctor isn't exactly the main focus. He's the brains, he's the ideology behind the whole series, but overall, you have Susan and Barbara and Ian doing bits and bobs, which I think is terrific. Ian is one of my favorite companions of all time. Um, he's just so headstrong, and he's not scared to fight back against the Doctor if he doesn't think about something right. He's questioning everything like you would as a human. He's intelligent on his own level. He knows what he's talking about, and he'll do everything to stand by the people he's with. He knows the Doctor's at fault here, and he will make sure he gets Barbara back, which obviously they reunite later with, and ultimately Barbara is now dying in the process. So he'll not want that on his conscience. He'll want to make sure he can get his legs working, get Barbara out, and obviously help the Doctor and Susan escape. So let me know down below what you think of season 1, episode 6 of Doctor Who. Are you enjoying it? Did you ever enjoy it when you checked it out? Thanks for watching as always. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and of course check out the next 2 episodes coming on my channel tomorrow. Goodbye.